Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, government insists proposed tax rationalization measures will help bridge revenue gap for this year. We hear from presidential advisor on the economy, Terkper, ahead of the 2025 budget presentation.
And mind you, many of the levies that we are using now, the base of many of these taxes was unified in the VAT, and many of them went away. We're only reintroducing them.
Also coming up, President Mahama pledges regular private sector engagement and commits to implementing national economic dialogue recommendations. More from the chairman of the National Economic Dialogue, Dr. Ishmael Yamson, ahead.
I've heard from the president, and I don't doubt him that he's determined to make this work.
That is an assurance.
Yes.
That's a promise.
Yes.
My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. And thanks for staying with us, everyone. Government is insisting that the proposed tax rationalization and compliance measures will help close the revenue gap for the year. There are reports the country could lose more than 12 billion cedis if the government goes ahead to remove some taxes like COVID-19 levy in the 2025 budget. Terkper is economic advisor to President John Mahama and has been speaking to Joy Business.
Mind you, the essence of austerity is not just to close. You close initially, to be able, to enforce discipline. You close initially to be able to plan, right? So you have arrears. It's a headache, right? First task, what is even the amount of the arrears? Because we are not an accrual basis, you'll be surprised that, we may not accrue, meaning that for the sake of those, so that you don't have a view of all your liabilities. So you do some gathering, and then you use, as we did with gift means, to capture them more regularly, okay? So based on that, you would know that, there's a road network I owe, but out of the amount of 50 million that I owe, this road is not going to be finished in 1 year. This road, because it's a highway, will be finished next year, right? So you pace yourself, because now you have a view. You had the problem. The essence of getting information from staff and from, holding budget hearings is to say, okay, wait a minute. So I owe 60, but it seems that between now and the end of the year, I need only 25 to do phase one, right? So you are not budgeting for the whole of 60 in this year. You are able to then put medium term, but then it informs you that because this road is going to be finished next year, now I have it as a fact, contracts have been awarded and whatever, you'll be more cautious in awarding roads that will go and compound your problem in year 2 and year 3. So it is also about expenditure management. It's not just about cuts. It's about observing and whatever. When it comes to the tax side, yes, there are taxes, right? And mind you, many of the levies that we are using now, the base of many of these taxes was unified in the VAT, and many of them went away. We're only reintroducing them. Now, if you introduce 10 levies, let me be conservative. If you introduce 10 levies, right, in a VAT, which is the most comprehensive, and let me give you 2 examples, health insurance and get fund. What is it that has gone wrong? By taking them out, right, calling them straight levies, and yet you have not been able to increase the VAT, as the minister was saying. You ask yourself, so were they better as VAT? And the answer is emphatic yes.
Well, President John Mahama has pledged to prioritize regular engagements with the private sector beginning this year as part of a broader initiative to foster an open-door policy for businesses and industry leaders. This commitment underscores the crucial role the private sector plays in driving the nation's economy. Dr. Ishmael Yamson is chairman of the National Economic Dialogue. He shared the news during an appearance on PM Express Business Edition.
From what I've heard from the president, and I don't doubt him, that he determined to make this work.
That is an assurance.
Yes.
That's a promise.
Yes. And in the communique that was issued to the public, if you remember, the third item says that it will be institutionalized to follow through the actions and the proposals that have been made.
Again, that's coming from the president.
Yes. It's the dialogue, it was published. But I took...
I'm taking it from the engagement you had with him, and that's where responding to these things here.
So what I'm saying is that the first thing to do is to make sure that we have a mechanism to follow up all the actions. And the president himself, in the letter that he wrote, says so. So we should institutionalize the dialogue. Bring the key people
every quarter,
exactly. We haven't decided.
But then
there will be. In fact, he calls this economic something council.
Yeah.
But we haven't discussed because we are meeting tomorrow, Thursday, to prepare our final report for the president. When we finish, we then sit with the president to see how do we then institutionalize it to make this a reality. Because I'll be very worried if it is just a matter of making proposals and leaving them there. In fact, the second objective was for the views expressed at this dialogue to be fed into the budget statement.
Someone aware that the time,
budget
is on Tuesday.
But I can tell you that
Thursday, can it be quickly put into
the finance minister people were there throughout with us. Throughout. They are aware of the briefing notes. They are aware of they were at the breakout session. It's going to be tough. They can't reflect everything.
But some will capture in the budget.
Don't forget that there's going to be a medium-term document which is going to show the next 3 years. I have no doubt. You know, I don't want to sound as if, you know, because I was chairman of the dialogue.
But it's not wrong.
Not everything there would probably happen. But I'll be happy even if 70%, 80% happens. Because in the past, what we do, we go and talk, we produce some glorious report, and that's the end.
In other news, Amefima Rural Bank is set to scale up support to small and micro-scale enterprises with loan support of up to 1 million cedis to clients. This is aimed at boosting local capacity of indigenous businesses and improving the local economy. Chief Executive of the bank, Dr. Alexander Asma, says the bank is leveraging strong ties with clients instead of collateral in accessing the loan. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
Last year, the bank launched the AMEP Donkomi promo, which targeted the disbursement of 500 million cedis to about 2,500 small and medium enterprises in 2 years. It offered up to 400,000 cedis to support small and micro-scale enterprises. According to management of the bank, between August and December 2024, over 200 million cedis was disbursed in the first leg of the promo. Dr. Asma is Chief Executive Officer.
Then with our advisory services behind it, they are able to do the minimum bookkeeping they can to help you to be able to monitor what they are doing. We have the team on the ground constantly with them. So then why don't we, for those who have understood our arrangement and are doing it right, why don't you give them the next leverage? So the risk committee of the bank has assessed the risks, the board has reviewed the risk assessment, and we are very comfortable to say that we can manage the risks of certain ones within the maximum range that you have now put it. Now with this level, what it means is that now we are going to be much more closer to these customers, and we are going to see exactly what they use our money for.
Lending to SMEs is considered high risk due to poor bookkeeping culture. By the close of 2024, Amenfiman Rural Bank recorded non-performing loans of 1.7%, below the central bank's ratio of 24.3%. Board Chairman Dr. Tony Obin explains the bank's staff working with the SMEs will enhance their support to ensure loans secured are dedicated to its objective.
The Donkomi Plus is not for starters. It's for those who have shown positive custom, those who have demonstrated trust and honesty, that if you give them 400,000 cedis, they are able to return the 400,000 cedis plus to you. So you can increase it to 1 million. It's a challenge, but banking is a risky business. It's a challenging business. You only have to reduce those risks. And the way we have reduced the risk is to stay closer to the customer, maintain a closer relationship with the customers.
The bank's customer appreciation event brought together some clients of the bank. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in collaboration with the Presbyterian University of Ghana, has organized a training program for entrepreneurs and cooperatives in Bolgatanga in the Upper East region. The training, which was conducted under the Green Growth Ghana project, focused on building participants' capacity in financial literacy, access to markets, business planning, and sustainable practices. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Green Growth Ghana project aims to promote a green and circular economy that will drive growth, reduce poverty, and foster social inclusion. The project is being implemented by the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry in collaboration with the Presbyterian University of Ghana with funding from the European Union. The training program for entrepreneurs in the Upper East region was a follow-up to a previous training session in Tamale organized under the Green Growth Project. It aimed to broaden the mindset, skills, and knowledge of entrepreneurs in the region by building their capacity in financial literacy, access to markets, business planning, and sustainable practices. Michael Kabute Caesar is the treasurer for the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
We are also helping them to understand the concept of the circular economy to ensure that in their business processes, they are able to reuse, refit, or recycle the materials they use. And knowledge in green economy helps businesses, cooperatives, working within such an environment to ensure that they do not degrade the environment, because you need the environment to survive. And so a good knowledge of it would help you to balance your work processes vis-a-vis not degrading the environment to ensure that there's life sustainability.
The Presbyterian University of Ghana partners the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the implementation of the Green Growth Ghana project. A lecturer at the university, Reverend Dr. Christina Amache, said the partnership was part of the university's mandate to do community service. She highlighted the importance of the training to the selected participants.
And we are encouraging them to join cooperatives, because there's a lot they could get to help themselves. We also talk about business incubator programs. We talk about leadership, their personal leadership and how they will lead their businesses. And we also talk about building their businesses in terms of how they could get some business plan down and get it rolled so that they are able to improve their work. And networking and partnership will be a key thing for them.
Over 35 entrepreneurs and cooperatives from various sectors, including farming, processing and trading, participated in the training. The participants said the training was eye-opening.
Some of the challenges we face as small-scale businesses are financial issues. We are looking at the digital market. Now the world is going digital. So I think that with this program, whatever they are training us would help us to scale up.
We have challenges in area of equipment. Today, the world is a global plate, and which, if you don't have the right equipment, you can't produce to meet the standards. And funding is also another thing. You could have the money, but you don't have the necessary knowledge, which Green Growth is stepping in to provide us now. We also believe that they are coming in with grants and other training programs, which is going to help us a lot.
The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry said plans are in place to give these entrepreneurs and cooperatives financial and logistical support to help their businesses grow. Reporting for Joy News, Albert Sori, Bolgatanga.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we've got show business. Welcome back. Time for show business on The Marketplace. As Ghana marks 68 years of independence, we turn attention to a key sector that has been a powerful driver of identity, influence, and economic potential, the creative industry. From music and film to fashion and digital content, Ghana's creative space has grown over the years, but the big question remains, are creatives actually making money? How much of this industry's potential are we truly tapping into? To break this down, I've been joined by Kenneth Auchidako, culture journalist, who has covered Ghana's entertainment and creative economy extensively, need I say. He joins me in the studio to discuss. So, Ken, nearly 7 decades after independence, give us an overview of the growth of the creative industry.
So, Darryl, first of all, belated Happy Independence Day. I'm just seeing.
What are we celebrating?
A lot of independence,
okay,
amongst others. Right, so essentially the creative space in Ghana has grown exponentially over the period since independence, especially within the past 2 to 3 decades. We have seen a lot of expansion in terms of the storytelling, in terms of the diversity of the culture and how it is being projected in different forms, be it in the fashion industry, in the movie industry, the music industry. All of these things have seen some richness and have attracted global audience from around the world. So essentially, there have been a lot of attraction and improvement when it comes to the narrative around how much of the country's heritage is being portrayed through the creative works and how much of attention is getting globally. So how much are we actually making from the industry in terms of revenue streams? So that is where the challenge is, because even though we have, been doing this since independence, a lot of other countries have actually shown that there could be more in terms of the monetary gains, aside from the fact that Ghana is known very much for its cultural heritage, amongst other things. There's always the end game, which is also the ability for the creatives or the people who are applying those trades to be able to make some money out of that. And that is where it is lacking. So when it comes to monetization, it's a big problem that the industry is facing at the moment. And if you look at the fact that some of for instance, if we talk about the music industry or the movie industry, there is a lot of monetization when it comes to technology. You'd find that there are a lot of platforms that the musicians are now using. Most of them are foreign-based platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, among others. When it comes to the movie space, there is also Netflix, there is Amazon Prime, and all those things. There are also local platforms that are couched around the African narrative that are also, doing their best to be able to project the creative work from Africa into the world. But that is where the conversion of the creative work into money is becoming a problem. That is why the continent and Ghana as well is not making that much strides when it comes to the monetary aspect, even though the creatives are doing their best to put out good work.
Talk to us a bit more about the challenges when it comes to monetization.
The challenges are quite many. First of all, the frameworks when it comes to payments is a big problem because when you look at some of these global platforms and streaming services, a lot of them have very streamlined mode of payments. For instance, if you would have to be on certain financial platforms to be able to do that. And so a lot of African countries, and Ghana, for instance, are not tuned towards some of those payment platforms. There are some strides being made in terms of the improvement of digitization and some of these payment platforms being more democratized, and governments also doing their best to also fit into that structure. And so the frameworks for those avenues to be explored are one thing. Also, when it comes to the fact that there are not much financial support when it comes to the industry as well, in terms of people investing and also government investing in the craft to be able to sell them worldwide, to be able to make a name and also make something out of it. Because no matter what you do, there needs to be that backing from where you're coming from. And so that is one of the only ways that the global scene is going to see you as very serious in terms of what you're doing.
I have barely 30 seconds. What do we need to change?
First off, improve the infrastructure, support the creatives in terms of funding, ensure that there is also an audience for the content that is being produced, and also ensure that the digital payment platforms are also streamlined so that the more we create a lot of work from this side, there is some money that's going to be made for the creatives as a whole.
All right. You heard from culture journalist Kenneth Auchidako. Anyway, thank you for wishing me a happy Independence Day. There is more news on our website, myjournline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.